are encouraged.
Can we get a cup of coffee in here, please?
Damn good coffee and hot.
Wake up, America. You've got a dog that needs walking. That's right, sunshine. Just put on a big pot of strong coffee and get ready to type your little hate mail with your opinions about kumbaya and flat earth insanity. Stand-up comedy? You want stand-up comedy? Well, we've got sit-down comedy. It's time for Coffee with the Dog. You make me laugh.
Oh, I make you laugh. What? Like, what? Funny, haha. I'm funny, haha. I'm doing my clown show. Holy. Ravioli. I don't know. I wait for the music to stop. It never stops. Going on and on. Sounds like out the band, like they're a real band and not me. But that's beside the point. Good morning, folks. It is Friday, your favorite day of the week, November 24th, 2023. I hope you had a beautiful holiday celebration yesterday, friends and family, turkeys, and whatever else eggs, deviled eggs, and all that kind of stuff. Today is Black Friday. Not like the Black Friday that happened in October of 1929. It's more like a Black Friday where they just attack you with sales. Now, I got almost 19,000 emails between the time we signed off yesterday and this morning. 19,000. I'm not kidding you. Bulk deleting, and some. I'm certain that there were important emails, like real emails that I care about in the back, but I just can't go through 19,000 emails. Most of them, last chance, big sale, Black Friday savings. Oh my God. Just too much. There's got to be a law against this. We got to stop the insanity of the email marketing people. Listen, I understand that this is the time of year people spend money and you want to make money, but I think you should have a limit on how many emails you can send. Like, there are 19,000 companies. A lot of this was 15 emails from one company or one email marketer, dude sitting in his mom's basement saying, I'll just pump out another one. I'll pump out. If I didn't buy the first 14, I'm not buying on the 15th. That's just all I'm saying. There's a oh, no, you don't, Wandering Willie. You don't just be popping in like that and just think you're going to get right on the stage. No, you don't. You got to warm up your Willie little ass on a bar stool while I sit here and ramble about you before you just pop on the stage. Anyway, where was I? High energy particle falling towards Earth that is probably going to destroy us all. It seems to now. The conjecture within physics is that these high energy particles, a couple of years ago, they found one they called the oh my God particle. And I could get into the statistics that none of us will really understand about how much energy is really contained in these particles. That one wasn't falling towards Earth, though. This one they found the other day seemed to come out of nowhere. The conjecture was they were remnants of exploding stars, but there's no exploding star anywhere near this. It seemed to just happen out of the void, and it's falling towards Earth quickly, probably towards Shoreham, Long Island, New York. If anything matters, if anything is right in this whole universe, that would be the case. But in any case, we don't know what to expect by it. It is falling towards Earth rapidly. It could be here by lunch. Nah, I'm kidding. I don't know when it will be here. Soon. That's all we know. Soon. It's falling quick. And we don't know what it really means. Now, one very high level physicist who I'm having a senior moment on his name um, said that it might be a glitch in the space time continuum. What the fuck do you mean by that, Doc? Uh, are we getting into the Matrix? Are we slipping into a parallel universe? We don't know. He's just spitballing here. Nothing to be afraid of, folks. Just go on your day, glue yourself to the street in the Macy's Thanksgiving Day parade over uh, things that a war that both sides would probably kill you for. And, if you don't know that reference, some people protesting the Israel-Palestine conflict glued themselves to the street on 34th Street yesterday. Glued their asses to the pavement. The thing is, the people in Palestine would fucking glue your ass to fucking, I don't know, a missile and shoot you. Israeli. None of these people give a shit about you. Why are you gluing your ass to the street? Over both sides would fucking kill you in a heartbeat. Palestinians don't want you. The Israelis don't want you. And you're getting involved like it's your mother and father and some, I don't know. Mind your own fucking business. How about that? Stay home. Don't glue your ass to the street. Okay. So back to Black Friday now. It is important to not go out and hurt people over a toy or a deal on a vacuum cleaner or whatever the hell you're doing. If you're going out, first of all, if you're going out, you're a madman or a madwoman. You're crazy. But if you insist on going out and shopping today to save $5 on a non-toxic butt plug, let's say, don't hurt somebody because they're getting the last one and you were a little bit late. Let it slide. And I really mean that. Let it slide. Let it slide right up their ass and not your ass. If it's a non-toxic butt plug, there's no reason to get violent over saving a couple of bucks on something nobody's going to use anyway. I promise you, the day after Christmas, you can get it probably even cheaper than you can get it today. This is the thing. You're going to go waste your day. You're going to get yourself all worked up and aggravated. You might end up in jail for assault over a deal you can get a better deal on if you just wait. Is anybody listening to me? Am I just preaching to the ether and I think I'm making sense, even though that would be a first. But I think I'm making sense this morning. Nobody's listening to me. We'll hear about it tomorrow or on Monday, and Monday's cyber sale. So probably that 19,000 that I got, emails that I got yesterday that are all in the trash now, and actually have been deleted from the trash, will be multiplied by Monday, probably 50,000 more emails that I won't read. Problem is, I'm missing out on some emails I really should be reading. I just, all right, we're getting to the point where we're going to let the inmates back into the asylum. Yesterday, we found out that Willie and GD completely hate each other and want each other dead. It started with Willie. You know what? Back in the day, my staff told me got to stop with the inside jokes, and I took that. It was a little hard to hear, but they were right, and I stopped doing the inside jokes. Now GD likes to tell inside jokes. That drives Willie crazy, homicidal crazy, till he wants him dead. He wants him dead. He's planning. How do I get to Maryland? Where do I find this fucking guy? I'm gonna kill him. I'm gonna chop his head off. I'm gonna eat his brain, and then bury him in a stinky little hole in the ground. And it got so bad that he totally disrespected GD and said the words, "If you know anything about comedy." Now that's crossing the fucking line there. And of course, GD got his panties in a bunch and started crying like a little girl. And now he wants Willie dead, but he's probably going to poison him because that's the way that people react when they are really defensive about just a little piece of criticism like that. So basically, I'm going to have to like separate them somehow. Maybe give one an hour, the first hour, one the second. I think they can't get along. I think we're at an impasse where if we keep letting them cohabitate on this show, one of them is going to commit murder. But we'll let them work it out. Maybe I should go get a cup of coffee while they work it out. Good morning, folks. Bye.
Yeah. No,
Good morning.
Matt,
Morning, Willie.
You had to be the worst telephone player growing up, Matt, because man, that's wildly inaccurate.
And he missed some really good opportunities to make some really good jokes, but they would have been inside jokes, and you wouldn't have told them anyway.
Well, I don't know anything about comedy.
Yeah. So my dog coffee. I don't always drink coffee, but when I do, I get the shits. My dog coffee.
Well, I appreciate that. But now, are you both in denial and denying that or what I said was completely accurate?
Okay, so
you missed the mama joke.
I do want to say that I'm sure that I said if you know anything about comedy, but I don't say that in a way of saying like you don't know. I'm like GD knows well enough.
Oh,
like
so
I'm trying
backtracking. So this you just saying
no,
that,
it's not backtracking. It's you have this interpretation that's combative, to whereas I'm trying to like reason to what I know is the like comedic knowledge that he has and be like, bro, like in comedy, like it's more beneficial if people know what you're saying.
So what you're doing right now, you're trying to soften him up so that he will trust you, so that when you sneak up from him to fucking chop his head off and
you
eat
keep
his
your enemies, your friends closer, and your enemies closer. I mean, that is true.
I don't think he's buying it. I don't think he's buying it.
One of the first things I learned when I hit the streets as a runaway was that if you want to get revenge on somebody, or if you want to get somebody got, you got to make them feel like there's no problem. Nah, man, that's water under the bridge. We're cool.
All this over a little dog joke.
They would side
this
up
is all
next
about
to
the black dog joke. This is what happened from one little black dog joke. Now we want murder. We want brain eating. We want revenge. We want.
Yeah, what is with the brain eating? Why do you got to eat the brains of the victims? Is that so that you gain their knowledge? I bet you that's what that is. That's probably like a subconscious. I'm gonna get more of their power if I eat their. You should eat their heart too, and probably their liver.
I don't know. I think it has something to do with Jack Nicholson, A Few Good Men. Didn't he say something about eat your brain and piss in your dead empty skull or something like that?
Something like that. Yeah, when he was getting mad and arrested. Yeah.
I think that's where it comes from. But I don't know. Maybe we've hit on something Freudian here. Maybe I got a brain fetish. I don't know.
Yeah. I used to, my parents had this terrible thing. So I grew up in a really odd home, and we were poor. we're
file that on the things that didn't need to be
said. Yeah. There's a lot of words you can use, but so we were poor, so we didn't get like high end kind of food very often. But my parents did enjoy crab legs once in a while. And like they didn't make crab legs for everyone. They would just make crab legs for them. And usually when they had crab legs, that's the night we would have pork brains. Which was not
that's not
my favorite dish.
No, rinds are the opposite of brains. Well, not in some cases, actually. No, they're pretty much the same thing.
Oh, have you ever cooked a pork rind?
I've never even been in the same county as a pork rind.
I mean, that's not true for sure. There's pork rinds in every convenience store, bro.
I know. I stay away from them. I say if I find one is in Suffolk County, I will move to Nassau County tomorrow. Anyway, Gigi's being quiet there because he's actually mixing up some poison right now to kill
He
you with.
probably is.
Yeah.
I do have to make it short today. I'm gonna hop off like probably right after the first guest because I got
Oh
like three
no, the
different
first
things.
we don't have a first guest. We
Oh,
only have
okay. Well,
we only have a
yeah, all
second
right.
guest.
Like a little before 9, I got to get well 9 my time,
Yeah.
which is
All
what.
right. You do what you got to do. Just
Yeah.
don't be committing any murders. Don't be eating any brains.
Right, right.
All right.
Yeah, no.
Uh,
And it has nothing to do with shopping. I just want to say that I'm not a Black Friday shopper. I will never be a Black Friday shopper. I don't like people enough for that to happen. You know what I mean? Like I am not about to get around a mass amount of people and none of them are acting right because I'm not going to act right either in that situation, and I know that, so I stay away.
right. I got harassed a little bit last night. You know what? I understand. It probably would have been me 40 years ago or something when I was young. We were looking for my stepdaughter's apartment last night. And we know where she lives, but in there she lives in a development where there's parking. You
Everything
only
looks
get
the
three.
same.
Yeah, and you only no, I know where it was, but you only get like 3 parking spots, and all those parking spots are filled. And to find a parking spot that's open that you can actually park in that won't commit like murder in the development there is a difficult thing. So I was slowing down looking for a parking spot, and one guy was behind me, and he just hit his horn like, and my wife was trying to talk to me. Like, what the fuck, man? Go around the sun, like it.
Right.
Like people just so fucking impatient that
Yeah.
but it would have been
Yeah.
me when I was young. I could see that. Like, why are you stopping, old man? What are you doing? Come on, keep going.
Yeah.
People are crazy. So imagine that energy times 500,000 people in a mall today. It's like
Right. Yeah. Yeah. No freaking thank you.
yeah. Are you guys concerned about this particle fall? These glitch in the space time.
I mean, I'm gonna have to look at it. I didn't hear the story or whatever. I've been super.
No, you wouldn't hear the story because the news is not going to cover it. You have to dig deep into science journals and all this kind of stuff to even see about it. But
right. I mean, I do a lot of times get into that.
Whenever,
but of course,
yeah, like asteroids hitting, coming towards, anything like that comes up in a science article. You gotta say, well, what is it? And so they don't know what this is, and they don't even.
The worst part about it. The worst part about it is I don't think Bruce Willis is in any condition to be going and saving the day like he did before.
Oh, yeah, good point.
But maybe we can get Tommy Lee Jones to do it.
How about Ben Affleck? Is he? Is it Affleck?
Yeah, but he's Batman now. He's
Affleck.
Affleck.
Is he Batman?
He's
Yeah,
Batman in the he's one of the new Batman.
He always seemed a little bit I don't know, skinny and frail to be a Batman.
Yeah.
It's on the cost. Well, they had George fucking Clooney, and that is his middle name, as a Batman.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, George Clooney.
So it has nothing to do with the physique.
Well, George Clooney was a little more.
Well, and Val Kilmer. Val Kilmer wasn't really. Val Kilmer was, and Michael Keaton. None of those guys are like, physical specimens, really.
That's true.
I did like Michael Keaton because he was manic. He was.
Yeah. Oh yeah, dude. My favorite Michael Keaton movie is Dream Team. I love that movie. That's a fucking fabulous movie.
My favorite Michael Keaton movie is Johnny Dangerously.
That's a really good one, dude. That's so funny. Me and my wife watched that like a couple months ago and laughed our asses off. Like she had never heard of it before. I was like, really? I'm like, oh, you have to watch this. Like, it's fucking great.
Yeah.
The guy Joe something is the other guy, right?
Joe Pesci. Not Joe Piscopo.
Yeah, that guy. I love that guy too. He
was a skinny little thing in that when they did that movie. He was like, but then he got steroided up, and I think when he found the gym, there was some 17-year-old girl that he got a crush on, and she was driving him to get bigger and bigger and bigger. And then he was on cover of Fitness magazine and all that kind of stuff, all bulked up. Yeah. He's a friend of Jackie's now.
Oh,
He had
cool.
he does not cool. He does a radio show on a very far right wing platform
Oh,
here.
okay.
And but he has Jackie on as a guest every once in a while. And there's you know what, you got to learn to separate the artist from the art a lot of times. But I think
I
there
mean,
was
yeah, we've been doing it for decades, bro.
but there is a point where like the guy like that, he was really funny when he was on SNL. He was doing all sorts of really good stuff. Wrote some really prolific, funny stuff. And Johnny Dangerously, he was really funny. He's not
Yeah.
funny anymore. I think his politics made him unfunny, like unable
No, that
to.
can happen. That definitely can happen for sure because you get too bent on all these real serious issues and
Yeah,
you can't get out. And to me, in my opinion, because and you've talked about how anybody, right or left or whatever, like anybody who goes extremism, like I think it's very hard for an extremist to be funny, because like you're always in this intense, like locked up, boggy, position inside. And
right,
that's not conducive to being funny. It's really not.
right. Um, yeah. So have either of you guys ever considered gluing your ass to the side to pavement?
Both
No.
cheeks are so you can lean the fart, or is it both cheeks or just one so you can lean the fart?
You know that you ask a good question there because that they left that out of the story, but it seemed to be both cheeks because they were flat down, and they were trying to lift these fucking people off the pavement. I think I'm just assuming because of the position they were in. I can find the video if I can find the video and show it, but I think it was both cheeks. Now that would be difficult when you have to shit eventually. It's going to be rough because you're going to be stuck in it. It's going to be smushed against the street, and
That would be a real asphalt.
asphalt. Right, that's a good point. Yeah.
That's their own asphalt is actually what that is.
Yeah, but I
Thank
mean,
you, Facebook.
is there any cause, anything worth gluing your ass to the street over?
If it's that important to me, I would like to think I would do something about it as opposed to sit on my ass about it.
Right. See, that's the thing that gets me about most of these people is what do they actually other than blowing hot air, what do you do to help any of these situations that you care so passionately about? You know what
Really?
I
I
mean?
mean, basically, instead of gluing your ass to the street, why don't you go if you're because these were pro-Palestine people? Why don't you go over and fight with the Palestinians? First of all, go say hello to them and ask if they want your help, and then
Yeah.
see how they treat you.
And also get informed about it. That
What?
would be like the
Right.
first step they should do is
Right.
get informed. Half of
Yeah.
them are just getting TikTok information.
Right, and that's the
Or
other
Twitter.
thing. It's posturing. And for the most part, it's posturing, and it sucks.
Oh, here it is. Here it is. Let me see how I can. I gotta figure this out now. Talk amongst yourselves while I do this.
So
But don't kill each other.
okay. So Willie, you have you're a songwriter and a comedian. So have you ever been in like a moment with your wife? Let's say a really special moment, beautiful moment, and all of a sudden it hits
Stop
you.
you
It's
there
like
now. No, he hasn't.
this would be a great song, or oh, this would be a great bit. Well, actually, if it's a beautiful moment, you'd be like, this would be a great song. Or if it's if it's an argument, you're like, oh, I see a bit coming on. Do you
Right.
sacrifice the moment for the bit or the end of the song? And like, hey, wait a minute, this is a beautiful moment, but I got to write this song down before I forget these
I
lyrics.
feel a bit coming on.
No,
Yeah.
Like it's a disease.
Yeah.
You know why? I've had that thought and like that, moment of, ooh, man, but I let every one of those go because I like having a penis. Because because
In your
if
mou-
I stop,
In your mouth or your ass?
my ass mainly. I don't want one in my mouth, really,
All right,
to be
okay.
honest. But in
All
my
right.
ass would be okay. I'd be all right with that. What? What I say?
From the river to the sea, Palestine will be free.
Are you?
Yeah, it looks like both cheeks. Definitely, he got both cheeks.
It looks like his hands.
Just pull him out of the pants.
And his hands.
I'm sure the glue. See,
Why are you screaming?
His hands looks like his hands.
His fucking ass is glued to the street, and they're
But
pulling
it's
him up.
like it's not his real ass; it's the ass of his pants.
Those pants aren't that thick. It's got to bleed through your pants.
Oh yeah, I suppose it probably
did. His hands
right.
also. It looks like he did his hands as well.
Well, that's your own.
Yeah, that's your own stupidity.
That was definitely his own ass.
Oh man, you're gonna pay for that. You're gonna pay for fucking getting to prison with skin, 2 inches of skin ripped off each cheek on your ass, and no place to sit. Now you're gonna have to stand for eternity,
and that's gonna make those rapes even more painful. I'm just saying.
Yeah. People are fucking stupid, man. I mean, it's just complete stupidity.
What do we got here?
What do you got?
Michael asked if these are my depression meds behind me, and first of all, that means he's got really good camera that he can actually tell that these are prescription bottles in here.
Mike has Mike watches on a 7-foot screen, and he watches on a 7-foot screen in his
right.
So
I mean, Kelly sent me pictures of her watching us, and it's usually on the television and without pants.
Right, and keep just as a precautionary note, keep your non-toxic butt plugs out of the frame. That's all.
Right.
Especially if they're used.
No, this is
oh my god,
it's a classic. This is a classic butt plug, Beethoven.
It was so funny. I was watching like YouTube videos or whatever the other day, and there was it was a Zoom call, and the person had like one of those like fake background things that's just like a filter, and their boss didn't like the filter because it was like making them look weird or whatever, and they're like, hey, I don't like that, get rid of that filter, get rid of that. And they're like, okay. And so they undo the filter, and there's this big ass fucking dildo behind him. And I fucking lost it.
The Ted Nugent thing, that was real. Ted Nugent was on a stream with somebody, and behind him on the desk, there were like 4 dildos.
Well, like I did the first podcast, maybe the second podcast I did was this one called Good Times with Arsenic. And in their studio, they had what was about the size of a baby torso that had some fake boobs on it that were, of course, small or whatever, but, not proportionate to the thing. And then it was like a vagina, it's like a fake pocket pussy thing or whatever. I don't know. But and it was made all out of silicone and stuff. They had that. They had like a giant butt plug. Like the whole desk was just littered with sexual objects that I pray had never been used, because it was kind of a thing to just pass them around and look at them. So I was like, I really hope nobody's been using these things, But the butt plug was like huge. It was ginormous. It was like putting a baby's head in your asshole.
Which is a common practice in some third world countries.
I do actually have that as a reference because I've actually stuck a baby's head in my asshole once. And
when they're young, they're pliable. The heads are pliable. They're still because he
didn't mean to do it. The baby was propped up on the couch, and as he turned around to sit down,
I was about to glue my ass to the street, and this baby just slid in underneath me. Is what happened, really. And
this
so
is probably this has got to be.
I glued the baby's head up my ass, and then NYPD had to come and pry the baby out of my ass, and it turned out to be Willie. Good morning, son.
Hey.
Anyway. Yeah. So today I think it's today in New York, the Adult Victims Act expires. So if you've been raped, you got to get your case filed today. So we're seeing. I read this on Washington Post last night. Lots of like 15 celebrity lawsuits last night filed on Thanksgiving night. We haven't. I mean, people are running to the running to the courthouses to file their
How is it
civil.
even open though? That's what I don't understand. How is the courthouse open to file these things on Thanksgiving?
You can file cases online now, Willie. This is 2023.
See, I was
Okay,
thinking
I
there was
don't
like a
see.
Black Friday.
I don't know. I don't do. I have no case to file, so I don't know. I don't pay attention.
Maybe you don't think about the opportunities of cases to file.
People have pointed that kind of stuff out to me all the time. It's just like, and there's even people that say stuff to me like I should go and get, because I used to be on disability years ago before I even went to prison. I don't know if you know that, but that's something that I don't ever want to do again. You know what I mean? Like that's not how I want to live my life, or the drain I want to be on society.
It's kind of weird to see, because I used to work with a drummer who was on disability, and like he had no problem moving his drum kit, setting up his drum kit, playing drums. His reason for being on disability was an injury to his leg, a motorcycle injury that cut one of his legs. He had like a bone, weird deformed leg.
I was on disability because of my mental health, bro.
Right. Yeah, that's
they're like, you're crazy enough. You're crazy enough. We'd like you to just leave the workforce, please. But I'll tell you, shortly before I got on disability, this is a real thing that happened. I was working at an Arby's, and it was the noon rush hour, and it was one of the more busy restaurants in Sioux Falls. And I was just having a super bad day. I was having a lot of intrusive thoughts and stuff like that. And they were just at me, and I'm at the register, like taking orders. And as one customer walks away, the other one steps up, and I just backed away from my register for a second. I covered my ears, and I was like, "Stop it! Leave me alone! I'm not listening to you right now." And then I walked back up to my register. How can I help you? Right?
It seems like a scene from Rain Man.
Right. Yeah, kind of. Yeah, like when the fire alarm was going off and he was like covered. Yeah, it was very much like that. A lot like that. And then like maybe 15 minutes later, my supervisor like came and tapped me on the shoulder. It was like, you need to go take a break. And so I went and took a break. And while I was on my break, like, I don't know if they discussed it more among each other or whatever. They're like, you can just go home, like you're fine.
Let me just make a point here that playing drums for a guy with a leg injury is very similar to speaking comedy from a stage for a guy with a mental disability. It's pretty much analogous. I mean, if you can get up on stage and talk to people for an hour, that pretty much says your disability is not so disabled.
I mean, well, yeah. I mean, for one, I'm in a much better place today than I was back then. That's for sure. Right. I mean, because I'd have to say that was probably like 2001-ish. You know what I mean?
One-ish. So I like one-ish.
Yeah, right. Well, one-ish. Yeah, because it might have been like early 2004 or early 2002. I mean, or something like that. It was like I'm trying to think if it was winter or not.
Speaking of disabilities, do you guys know Joe Urell?
I don't think so.
He's a comedian. He's not famous. Well, he's a comedian who's in a wheelchair. I think he has muscular dystrophy, no use of his arms or legs. He did a fundraiser to get this special vehicle to take him to places to do comedy, but he still needs a driver. But his biggest problem is a lot of comedy clubs are not handicap equipped. Yes. They don't have ramps and all that stuff. And he's always that's his main issue. But he got into a Twitter argument with Conor McGregor. You know Conor McGregor.
Of course.
Yeah. Conor McGregor challenged I guess didn't know who he was, challenged him to get into the ring. And he's like, why would I do that? I can't move my arms or legs. So, but this is the thing. Now, Conor McGregor has no shame, even after he found out that he just challenged the guy who has absolutely no use of his body to a fight.
You see, if I would, this is bad. I shouldn't say it that way. But if it were me and I had the same disabilities and Conor McGregor challenged me, and I would assume he did not know, and I would not let him know, and I would show up for the fight.
Right? No,
I would show up for the fight. Come on, bring it on.
Classic.
I do want to say I think that Conor McGregor probably comes from the school of thought is that if you're going to talk like that, you should be able to defend yourself. You know what I mean? And I mean
Uh,
because that's kind of an old school thinking. Because back in the day, you didn't run your mouth because you knew that if you ran your mouth, you know it might lead to a confrontation or whatever. So people, you know, like at least in my experience, like where I grew up and stuff, like you didn't like it was a bad idea to run your mouth if you weren't ready and prepared to fight. Because
even in the real world, think about this, Willie. You guys sitting in the real world, take it out of the cyber world. The guy sitting in a wheelchair, he has tubes going, and
right, yeah, no, that's terrible.
he calls you a dumb fuck. You're gonna say, "Wow, you get out of that chair, you."
Yeah.
I
I mean,
mean,
there, you know, it's just like that guy who kicked that little person that we watched the video of. You know what I mean? Listen, there's plenty of people that would never kick a little person no matter the situation because
yeah,
they feel, you know what I mean?
that guy
But
had
there's
no
other people
arms
that come
too.
from the school of thought if you're going to talk like an idiot, you better get ready to get hit.
The guy had no
No matter
arms.
what you're, you know, you well, too bad you weren't smart enough to know that you can't defend yourself.
Too bad you weren't smart enough to order arms.
Yeah, yeah. And legs.
Everybody knows you need arms, you dope.
Oh
Uh,
man.
no, the
Uh,
guy was a racist dick, but
we're on some high level ridiculousness this morning, I feel.
totally. I mean, Carl's right. This is a clown show.
Yeah.
We should probably do it in clown makeup. Now, I just
Then
don't
my
have.
wife definitely couldn't watch. She's scared of clowns.
Me too. I have a I don't like clowns. They like me. When we do that, we do kind of several events a year where there are clowns present, and they always like they can smell me like women like 90-year-old women and gay guys fucking gravitate towards me. Clowns also gravitate like, oh, look at this, we have
Yeah.
something.
So if you met like a 90-year-old gay clown, he'd be like all up in your shit.
They'd be I'd be fucking raped and filing my lawsuit right now.
By midnight last night.
Oh shoot.
I think it's midnight tonight. I think you still have like
You still have time.
yes, in New York. This is only in New York, by the way. But a lot of celebrities obviously have roots in New York. One of them that stuck out.
Coffee
L.A.
cone?
L.A. Reid, who
Oh.
was he's a record producer. He's the guy responsible for Pink's career. Now, I'm just curious whether she's going to comment on that because he definitely, if it weren't for L.A., we wouldn't know who Pink was. But she's definitely pro victim, you know, that kind of stuff. I'm just wondering if she's going to comment on that. If she knew him very well, probably still knows him very well. I wonder
Well,
if
she may be smart enough to keep her mouth shut until she gets all the facts.
Well, that's
Who
that's the
does
deal.
that? That's just silly.
That was just, it's in the fantasy world.
Well, maybe that, but maybe she knows all the facts. I mean, these are not new cases.
Right.
These are cases
Right.
people are filing because they're running out of time to file old cases. This is the Adult
Right.
Victims Act, and it basically gives you the ability to go back 30 years and file a civil case against somebody you have a claim against. So it's not like it's something new. And I would think she would know. Look, if you know somebody very closely, you know if they rape somebody or not, don't you? I think.
Maybe.
knew-
I mean, I don't think that's something that most people like tout or brag about. Probably, you know, I don't think. I mean, that's probably the dirty secret of most people is that they've raped someone. You know what I mean?
Well, the thing is, some of them brag about it because they don't really know it's rape.
I mean, yeah, I guess
they'll
that.
go be like,
Oh,
man,
yeah.
we
That's what
got
I
this
was gonna
girl,
say,
we got this
yeah.
girl, we got her drugged up and she passed out and we took turns with her. You know, that was great, you know, and then they not thinking to themselves, okay, she passed out. That's
Right.
rape.
Yeah.
and-
I have a friend, or had a friend. He hates my guts now, but we were good friends for many years, up until the Kavanaugh hearing, Brett Kavanaugh hearings. And this is a guy who everything for him is either Republican or Democrat. There's no, And I'm of the school of that Brett Kavanaugh probably is guilty of all the things he was accused of.
Yes.
And it doesn't matter if you're pro-Republican and you just want a Republican judge. Can't you find one who didn't rape somebody? Was my point.
Right,
and he was like,
right.
well, it's just a Democrat. But I said to Chuck, I said, you know people who bragged about, people who've done what Brett Kavanaugh has done. I know them because they bragged to me about how they raped a girl at Tanner Park, and he was like oblivious to it. I don't know what you're talking about. Like, some of these people are your best friends. If they brag to me and I was just an acquaintance of them, I'm sure they brag to you about it. So, but back in the day, old man speak again. A lot of guys who did those things. That was that was something to talk about. Yeah, we trained such and such. The whole football team did her at the beach house at Tanner Park, and she was underage, and they were all 18, 19 years old, and that to me is rape, and it's part of or they drugged her up and everybody passed her around and they bragged about it. And but again, I'm sure that doesn't happen as much anymore. Guys are a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, the culture is definitely changing because I mean, what was that? God, what was that movie? I think it was a Jodie Foster movie where she was like attacked in a bar or whatever.
Oh yeah.
And there was a big case
The
about it. Or
accused.
Yeah, I think movies like that really helped open people's eyes to what is going on and the cult, the mentality that goes into those actions and stuff, because that's the kind of stuff that we got to root out of ourselves, because that's really super toxic, terrible stuff.
May I share an accused story?
Sure.
All right, this is a time where all the women, well, not like we have any women don't listen to this program anyway. No, that's not true.
Kelly listens.
It's if you look at the analytics, it's 80% male, the audience. So I'm pretty safe.
Oh, that's probably that's
when
women that are watching are probably rubbing one out to Willie right now.
Right. Yeah. At the time, The Accused was a big hit movie, and the pool table thing. We were going to, the drummer and I were in his little pickup truck, and we heard about this sax player. We were looking for a sax player. We heard about, he was playing at what the Brokerage Comedy Club is now. It was a jazz club at the time. And we were going down this, it's like a main highway, and there's a girl hitchhiking there. She's on the side of the road. And we got this small pickup truck. Now, if she gets in, she's going to have to sit in between us. She's hitchhiking. She's got kind of a Jodie Foster lookalike in a mini skirt and the whole bit. And we stop, and she, as soon as she sees us pulling over, she looks like pissed, like, fuck, couple of guys. And you want to get in? And she's, yeah. And like she's completely changed, like from being pissed to happy. Gets in the middle, and she's fucking like almost playing with herself on the stick shift, and she's got a leg spread, and my friend's got to like reach between her legs to shift it. She goes, I'm looking for a pool, any place with a pool table. Well, we're going to find a sax player, and she comes with us. We talk to the sax player, then we go to a little pub, and she's sitting on the pool table, and she's fucking like she's like asking for it. So I went over and I started squeezing her tits. She goes, "Get off me!" I was like, well, you look like you were fucking about to finger yourself on the fucking pool table. Excuse me, I misread that sign. Where she still wants to hang out with us. And we go back to my friend's house, and we're doing a bunch of blow and all this stuff. And she keeps doing that stuff. Like, she's fucking playing with her own tits. She's fucking fingering herself. She's fucking moaning and groaning. And he goes to hit on her, and she's like, "Get off me!" Like, this chick.
I mean, maybe she just wanted to give a show. She didn't want to be.
She was looking for a pool table. She was looking for a pool table, and that movie was a hit thing. And she was dressed like Jodie Foster from the movie.
I mean,
and turns out she's a saxophone player.
Right.
Oh my God.
Well, so this went on for hours. 4 o'clock in the morning, I finally gave up on it, and I basically read her the right. I said, "You're a psychotic fuck, man. You need to get. There's a mental hospital just 2 miles down the road. We can just drop you there. I'm out of here." I went home. He's still trying to. My friend is still trying to fuck her into the middle of the night. Finally, like 7 o'clock in the morning, He gives up. Now we got a recording session at 11 a.m. So I'm coming over to pick him up now, and I knock on the door. And I see through the door that his father, who was 75 years old at the time, is fucking cowboying her.
She had a kink. She had a kink. She wanted a grandpa. You were too young.
I don't know. He just waited long enough, I guess, or maybe she's a morning fucker. I don't know, but we never kind of figured it out. But that fucking puzzling image it's still in my mind today. It's like,
yeah,
fuck,
I can imagine.
Man. Yeah,
I can imagine.
Yeah, a lot of stuff is explained now.
Yeah,
you don't unsee it.
I'm gonna hop out of here. I got a lot of stuff to try and accomplish this morning.
So basically, what that means is you're going to Maryland to sneak up on GD, right?
Yeah.
All right.
Where's Maryland again?
Go to New York and turn right.
Yeah, or go to Virginia and throw up. Anyway, okay, get out of here. Be that way.
See you guys.
Get out.
Right. Take care.
All right. So now with this poison you're going to give him, do you have any experience in poisoning people? That's just pills.
Yeah, but if you do it right, if you do it right, see, that's the beauty. By themselves, each one is totally innocuous. But if you put them in the right combinations together, you got a deadly toxin.
But it's very traceable and right and
because they show up as individual elements.
Very
so
cool.
They will go like, oh, so he's got high cholesterol.
All right, rest in peace, Willie.
Yeah,
rest in pease, Willie.
And all I gotta do is make it look like blow. You grind them up. And,
right.
Yeah.
Did you? I don't even know. We're not to the playoffs yet in football, right? It's not playoff time. They had a halftime show. I guess the Thanksgiving.
The Dolly Parton thing.
Yeah, the Dolly Parton thing. Now she's 77 years old and and jiggling her titties out there and wearing the Dallas Cowboys shorts and stuff. She looks pretty good. I mean, something's holding their titties up. They can't be that. That's not natural. Their titties don't.
It's the same glue. It's the same glue that's holding those asses to the asphalt.
But I mean, they don't naturally. Titties have a gravitational force behind them that, as they get older, they tend to kind of peel up below the navel.
You don't have to tell me. I come from a family of big-chested women. Oh God, yeah, that's all you hear about.
Yeah. Oh, gravity.
Yeah, my mom was a 36 double G when she was in her prime. In her prime, she was like 2 missiles walking down Baltimore. In her later years, it's like she had 2 knee pads. That were.
I'm looking at this picture. It looks like she probably had a breast reduction because if you go back to the 70s,
I thought you meant of my mother.
Oh, yeah, this picture of your mother. Your mother had a breast reduction. Sorry, I didn't mean to pick on your mom that way. No, Dolly. If you go back to the 70s when Dolly Parton was on Johnny Carson, she had this like enormous, like way too big set, and now they just look like, I don't know, 38, maybe 38 double Ds. I don't know. I'm guessing. I don't know, but everybody talking about her like that was a great performance. Now, what she did, like, what'd she do? I forget the song now, dude. It wasn't like one of her songs. We Are the Champions by Queen. Did you see it? Because I didn't see it.
I didn't watch any football at all.
Me neither. But I'm just wondering how she pulled off Freddie Mercury, like, and how kind of shape her voice.
She may not have. She may have just done like what Whitney did to her song. She just dollified it.
Oh. Yeah, I thought you were going to the gutter there. Pulled off Freddie Mercury. She might not have. She might have sucked him off. Whatever. Yeah. So, but she might have done it. I would like to see a little bit of the performance, but it's not worth sitting through a football game to watch.
Yeah.
But the Soupy Sales is trending today for no reason at all. It's not like he was born today. It's not like he died on this date. Like no reason at all, but Soupy sales are trending and people talk
It's
about
Black Friday. Everything that sells, that's what it is.
it.
The people,
Sales!
yes, it's sales.
That
And
might have
people,
triggered it. You might
yeah,
be right about that. It
it's
might
like,
the word sales might have triggered interest in Soupy sales somehow.
yes, people looking for soup for recipes and sales for Black Friday, and all of a sudden, Soupy sales is relevant again.
Right.
And he was funny. He did some really innovative stuff.
That's what they keep saying. He was an innovator in television.
And actually, Ernie Kovacs was even more innovative. He was like, I was enamored with watching Ernie Kovacs.
But he was too early, right? Because he was before everybody even had TVs.
Well, he had one set, he had one routine that was just absolutely hilarious. It was they were filming it. He does not look upside down to everybody else. He's actually upside down, and the camera is upside down. So to the audience, it looks right side up. And
Do you
so
remember the Penn and Teller on Saturday Night Live?
I don't know if I remember that one.
Oh man, that a classic thing. You don't know that they are upside down hanging. They're in chairs though.
Right.
And they're upside down hanging, and Teller's doing these magic tricks where he's making stuff levitate out of his hands, but it's not levitating; it's just falling to the floor. But they don't reveal that until the end when they pull back and they show you this, and like, oh my God, it was such a good effect. But they stole that from Ernie Kovacs, apartment.
Yeah, Ernie Kovacs was doing it, and yeah, it's the same thing as like then he like he pours the tea and it goes like so.
Very cool. Yeah. So wow, I wonder if they were aware of that. It was like an intentional steal. Why? I'm not aware of it, and I knew of Ernie Kovacs. Maybe not. Maybe they were. Maybe they weren't.
But you think it could. But again, the depth that you first of all when you're but you're a prodigious. What's called a prodigious when you do like the illusions with the fingers?
Yeah. Well, no, that's just a sleight of hand guy.
Sleight of hand guy. Okay. Well, so. They are illusionists, and so you when you're a good illusionist, you're going to dabble into how people did the tricks. You know, it's like people. I don't know any escape artist who has ever tried to do a straitjacket who does not know about Harry Houdini.
That's true.
I don't know of anyone who tried to do the water tank thing who doesn't know about Harry Houdini. You know, so. But there are probably people out there who've never seen Harry Houdini, you know, hanging from the scaffolding, or there are people out there who've never seen it. But if that's your business, you know.
I'm wondering because I'm certain because you mentioned sleight of hand guys, and there are lots of them, and some people call them finger flickers, but there are lots of them who don't know who Di Vernon was, and Di Vernon really is for people who study the craft is like the the measurement, the standard of good sleight of hand, and basically came up with a lot of the effects that David Blaine and people like that still use. I would bet, I don't know how we would even prove this bet, but I would bet that David Blaine doesn't really know Di Vernon. I would bet that, and even though he's doing the same effect.
Get him on the show.
I wish I could. I wish I could. What's his number? You got his number?
It's in my flip phone. Damn it.
I had his number, but it disappeared. You know who our guest is today?
Yes and no. I know his name is Melvin Hayes. And I know there are like 27 Melvin Hayes on the internet. None of them were turned out to be him.
Black Freezy.
Big Freezy.
Big Freezy.
Big Freezer.
Black Freezy.
And I looked under Big Freezer. You're thinking Black Wheezy. No, I did look under Big Freezer and didn't find anything either. So I'm like, okay, fine, I'll fly behind. No biggie.
He's got an Instagram that's got lots of videos on it, and he does have a YouTube. But other than that, I know he's Southern California guy, ex-military, big black guy. That's all I know about him.
And I think that's all I know, and I think I learned that from the first time he was supposed to have been on the show.
Right. You didn't even know that earlier in the week, this week, he was supposed to be on the show.
No.
Because I forgot.
No.
Because
But when I
the first time when he was supposed to be on the show, when it was just me and you, and then he didn't show up, he said he wrote to me later in the day and said, "Do you have any other time?" And we agreed on. I think it was this Tuesday he was supposed to be on, but
right,
I forgot. I forget who we had. It's Tuesday. Oh, we had the food lady, the
Petronella,
yeah, the healthy eating
yeah,
Petronella Ravenshear.
right.
That's a nice name. Um, so he's supposed to be on at 10:15 today. So this is actually his third attempt. One time he screwed up, one time I screwed up, and now
So
maybe
today's the tiebreaker.
we'll
Today's the
see.
tiebreaker. See who's gonna, yeah. How's it gonna go down in history? Is it gonna be, one, or maybe I'll fuck it up, and then it'll be like a three-way tie.
Now you don't have. Oh, you do have a web page, right? GD. It's sogdfunny.com.
Yeah.
What do you think? Is it important? Because it seems like a lot of these comedians don't have web pages.
I did it for my fan. I did it. I put up a webpage for my fan. It's not designed for bookers. And I say that in the sense that I didn't realize that I did. When I designed it, I literally designed it so that people who wanted to enjoy some more of what I do, and I wasn't performing, they could see some of the other stuff. But also, they got to see the things like my earn stuff and stuff that I do that's not, quote, comedy, but it's amusing,
But the answer to the question would then be no. It's not important for business or for a career. It's not important to have a website to let people know. Listen, you're in show business. Yeah.
It's only it's important to me. It's important enough to me that I'm investing money into owning these damn these damn what are they, URLs
Yeah.
and the web space, and I take the time to update it. It's important enough to me, but I'm doing it for the fans. I'm not doing it for the bookers. And I've had bookers complain about my site. They say, "Well, your site's not booker friendly." I said, well, "Actually, it is if you're smart." When you open a page, there is like a clip that automatically comes on of me performing.
Okay. I'm not because I've been dealing with somebody who is a major booker of entertainment in the Orlando, and maybe I shouldn't say it's too much here, but he's a major booker of talent in the Orlando area, but he books talent worldwide. He's based in, but he asked me to redesign some of his clients' websites because they're not booker friendly, whatever he thinks of booker friendly is.
Right.
But all of those have really no performance stuff on it. It's not fan based. It's accomplishments, what you've done, but brief bio like that, and booking for and how to book them, but it's all that kind of relevant information of why you want them, where they've been and all the accomplishments and that, and stays away from giving away any real performance stuff. If you want to see that, I guess you can link to it on YouTube if there's any of that kind of stuff. But my initial reaction was to disagree with them. But you know what? If that's what you want, that's what you want. I'll give you whatever the fuck you want. But I find those websites completely boring. But I'm not booking. I'm not a booker. I'm not paying $50,000 for a tribute band from America to come to South Africa.
Right.
I want
I'll be a tribute band. I'll be a tribute band.
Hall & Oates tribute band from Ohio playing a gig in South Africa for $50,000 for one night.
Damn.
Like you got to sell out like a state. How much does the ticket price have to be, or how many seats do you have to be to justify that cost? Because all right, the fee is $50,000. I'm sure that includes travel and lodging, but still, that's an awful lot.
No, that's a lot of money to recoup.
Right, you got to make more than that from your ticket sales and or merch and meals and drinks and stuff. Are people in South Africa that fucking rich that they can just pay $700 for it to go see a tribute band?
I guess they are, because I mean, I'm thinking corporate seats stuff like that. But why would a corporate, they could actually, a corporation could probably actually hire Hall and Oates, dead or alive,
No,
and
you
show up
couldn't.
at their place.
No, you couldn't. Not right now.
Are they both dead?
No, they hate each other. Daryl Hall is suing John Oates, and he has a restraining order against him.
Yeah, I'm told by a person much wiser than me that everybody has a price.
Yeah, you know what? That's probably true. Did you see Jonestown Massacre Band break up on stage? I don't know what you're saying to me. Those words have never been put together in a sentence like that before. As far Jonestown Massacre Band,
They must have had a band because they had music and entertainment.
No, Ian knows a lot of stuff about music that always surprises me that I don't know anything about. But it sounds like to me, I got to look this up. Jonestown Massacre Band. Talk amongst yourselves.
Okay, Michael, you was talking about playing pickleball with somebody who has a handicap sticker in their car. Are they themselves handicapped, or is it like
they bought a sticker?
Like my sister used to chauffeur my mother around, and so my sister had a handicap sticker in her car.
Brian Jonestown Massacre tour of Australia canceled following bizarre onstage fight. Well, that's interesting. I must have drank the Kool-Aid. I don't even know about these guys. What kind of music do they play? Was there some video of the fight? I can't. I'm not going to do this now because. But yeah, so apparently Brian Jonestown Massacre is the name of the band, and they got in a fight on stage. Now the Eagles' famous breakup happened like that, Glenn Fry and Don Felder basically getting almost into a fight on stage, and then it erupted into throwing a guitar at somebody's head or a beer bottle at somebody's head backstage.
Damn.
Yeah.
That's angry. You don't throw a guitar.
I think he busted it. Against the wall. Did I don't know, if a Hendrix or Pete Townsend move, like you're taking an acoustic guitar. I think it was an acoustic guitar, and bashed it against a concrete wall.
Now, have you ever broken a guitar for a fact? Like back in, because when we were younger, that was the thing. Everybody was like breaking a guitar in the 70s. Hendrix was doing it, Pete Townsend,
Is this Michael Scarione we're talking about, Mike?
Yeah.
He claims a back issue and identifies as handicapped.
Identifies as handicapped.
No, I'm trying to think if I ever broke a guitar like that. I think I had some cheap guitars, and we did an El Kabong scene for video, but it was already broken. It wasn't like it was like an unrepairable broken kitty acoustic that we did an El Kabong thing on. I don't think I've ever broken that.
I did once, only because I wanted to get it out of my system, but it was the very first guitar I had, which was like this. There used to be a store called Best, and they used to it was like a department store that sold jewelry and guitars and clothing. It was just
yeah.
And so I had my first guitar was it was a copy of I think it was called a Mustang. No, it was like a copy of a Mustang.
A copy of a copy of a Mustang.
Yeah, a copy of a Mustang. Not even, it's like a third generation Xerox. And it came with a little tiny amplifier. And it was like $88 or something. It was under $100. That was my first guitar. And as a matter of fact, it only had two sounds. The amp and the guitar had two sounds. Crystal clear, or if you turned it up and distorted it, it sounded like Brian May from
Queen.
We are from
Queen.
Yeah,
Queen.
I'm talking about the song.
Oh yeah, we will rock you.
Yes, that was the sound. So you got two sounds. That amp only made two sounds.
I love that sound.
Yes, that's why when I got that, I was like, man, I love this. So that was, and I loved Queen. So that was my guitar for a year or so, and then I got my first real electric guitar, a name brand. And I still kept it, the other one out of sentimental reasons.
There's America's Got Talent, a clip of an old geezer. He's probably my age, but he looks older. He's a music teacher, You know, and he's fat and gray haired and all this stuff, so it makes him look a little older. But he's doing "We Will Rock You" guitar with electric guitar, and people are like shocked that an old guy can play like that. But he's not doing that, and he doesn't have that tone. He
Right.
doesn't do the. He's playing Freddie Mercury's lyric part on the guitar. You know that he's still playing the melody, but he's not doing that cool Brian May.
Right.
And you know, people, oh, it's incredible, what a rocker! Like, no, if he was a fucking real guy, he'd say, "Fuck that! I'm doing a Brian May solo. I'm getting that fucking classic, dirty,
Right.
disgusting tone."
And I love that. I love the guitar players that I really like are the ones that have a sound that as soon as you hear it, you go, "That's so and so. That's so and so. That's so and so." And if
Right.
anybody else copies it, you're like, that person's trying to sound like so and so. And that was what I wanted. You know, I wanted to have a sound where if I ever became famous, someone would go like, "Oh, you're playing like, you know, G.D. Fenderson." And that was what I was looking for. I was trying to find a unique sound.
So that's why you broke the guitar, because
no, I broke the guitar just to get it out of my system.
Because it sounds unique, very unique. And now you have a completely unique sound. It's called "Way Out of Tune." And
well, that was the beauty of that guitar. That guitar was so cheap. It had like one of those little whammy bars with the spring, and if you use it once, you had to retune it all over again. It was like, wham! Okay, tune.
Almost all the Fender Squires are like that. They come with a whammy bar, but if you use them ever, I mean, even slightly.
Yeah, don't even. You just touch it. If you touch it, I just wound up taking the whammy bar off of it. And
definitely.
I didn't even want to touch it because it was just like, just go out of So I eventually got a real guitar. It didn't have a whammy bar, but I learned to get a similar effect with my neck and stuff. But it just didn't bend like. It was just like a little.
Yeah.
But I broke it up to get it out of my system.
You know Kyle Rittenhouse, right?
Of the
Kyle Rittenhouse. I'm totally switching gears here. This
of
is
the Rhode Island Rittenhouses?
Of the Mononchka, wherever, Indiana or Illinois, wherever. The kid who shot up the BLM.
Oh, yes.
He's on Twitter. He has a book out. And he's on Twitter complaining about how nobody bought his book and he lost all his money. He spent all his money on the book, and he's got no money now. And
who?
Right. But one guy who is a former vet, he went on, do what the rest of us do. Get your ass in that position. You're 19 years old, you pudgy bastard. Go down to the recruiter and get yourself signed up and, you know, become a man in the military. And I replied back, are you fucking kidding me? That is giving him a scholarship to the Timothy McVeigh School of Domestic Terrorists.
Yes,
I mean, the worst place you want to send the kid who's already shot up people without any kind of remorse whatsoever is to the United States military, because they will come out a lean, mean, destructive machine and blowing up buildings and stuff. So.
With actual skills to back it up now.
Right, exactly. They're going to teach him to be a badass.
Yeah, because he was just an idiot before, but now he'd be like a dangerous idiot with skills.
Yeah. This is how all bands should break up. Ian sent me a link. Andy Andrews saying this is how all bands should break up. I'm certain many have broken up with the fight on stage before, but a lot of them are not of any kind of fame or name recognition, that they're doing it in bars. I've seen bands fighting. I've been in some really tense situations on stage with band members, but I've seen some fights on stage too. So, you know, if you don't have any fame, though, nobody's going to hear about it. There were 7 people in the crowd that night.
Yeah. Now, as far as bands breaking up goes, like, what's the pecking orders? Like, is it usually over a girl first, then artistic differences, and then money? You know, what's the usual? I think it's usually over a girl.
I don't think there's a usual. I think it's any one of those can be it. Generally, it's attitude problem. Like, there's always a guy who just in my experience, there's always a guy who just thinks his shit doesn't stink. He like the guy who I replaced in this band as a guitar player. I was the keyboard player up until first I was a drummer while he was a guitar player, and then I became the keyboard player while he was a guitar player. He left because we weren't doing what he assigned. He would bring us homework assignments and write out sheet music for everybody in the band, write out their parts. And it's just like he was like an anal retentive asshole. And just if you missed a note that was on his thing that he wanted to do, he would throw a hissy fit. And that's, to me, that is the pretty much symptomatic of a lot of bands that I've been in, how they break up. It's just because of one dude's supremacist attitude, musical supremacist attitude. Just the idea that he's better than everybody else. He's the by de facto default leader, and everybody should bow to him. And I'm going to bring you homework, and not just homework, but annotated homework and like margin notes about what fucking crazy shit. Over chicks, I always had a rule that no chicks in the band.
But what if they're a really good saxophone player who just needs a pool table?
Well, that was an issue. Basically, we violated that rule twice now. We had two girl singers in the band, and both were. I objected to them at the start, and then sorry to see them go. But my core belief in music is that if you bring a girl into the band, all the dudes are going to want to fuck her eventually, even if she's unattractive. The more you get, you're just doing music is a fucking aphrodisiac, and you can't be on stage with somebody and not eventually somebody's going to want to fuck her, and then somebody else is going to get jealous that guy's fucking her, and it's just going to cause fucking Peyton place in the band. Let's not have any chicks in the band, and so that was always my rule. Mikey keeps breaking it, and he keeps inviting chicks in the band, and then he regrets it, and I have to hear about it. Like, we don't need them. Like, yeah, I told you, no fucking chicks in the band. Are you going to stick to it this time? No, he's going to get another chick in the band. Eventually, there will be another chick in the band. And by that time, we're almost done anyway. We can smell the coffin getting ready for us. It's just, Mikey doesn't.
Now, why? Because you're still booking gigs. It's not like you're
far less than we were, and he got married as part of it. We were doing 6 nights a week, sometimes 2 shows a day, minimum, for many years. And then he got married, and now he likes to sit on the couch with his wife and watch television. And so we don't book nearly as much as we did.
Could you put her in the band?
No, she used to come to the gigs. Now, at that time, when Mikey hooked up with her, he was working with her, and he had been working with her for over a decade. And Mikey was married, and she was married, and they began an affair. I had a girlfriend at the time who lived right next door to her, so I would be at my girlfriend's house and deal with her husband, and her husband was like a coke dealer or something to the girlfriend I had at the time. So he would be over there a lot.
The soft drink or the powder?
The powder, yes.
Okay, that makes a different intensity to the character of the person.
Yeah, no, nobody I know ever dealt the soft drink. I will say that. I mean, I shouldn't say bartenders obviously deal in the soft drink, but so I would be knowing that this thing was going on between Mikey and her, and sometimes she would come to the gig, and then after the gig I would go to my girlfriend's house, which is not too far away, and her husband would be there selling coke to my girlfriend, and trying to be in the middle here, not you got to be really careful about what you say, what any kind of thing, and knowing that was going on. And Mikey's ex-wife was a fucking psychotic bitch. Her brother murdered a friend of ours and had to flee to I think it was the Dominican Republic or something like that. Comes from a crazy family, and she used to sleep with a machete under her bed, and told Mikey if he ever cheated on her, she would fucking cut his dick off, and everybody believed it. I mean, so it was a really tense situation, but so no, they weren't. That didn't break up the band. I mean, because she wasn't in the band.
Right.
So that's a part of it. But I think once a chick gets in the band, that's a recipe for disaster. Sooner or later, it's going to break up over that shit. I mean, look at Gwen Stefani. What was the No Doubt?
Yeah.
She was fucking the bass player. I mean, she and the bass player were a thing, and then she made him listen to songs about him, like Stevie McQueen. Yeah. I think "Don't Speak" is basically about their breakup, and
that's a good song. That's
it's a really fucking great song.
Yeah,
great song.
I love that song.
Yeah. Looks like Melvin Hayes is in the background, but I don't see him. I see just like.
Yeah, he was there for a second, and I saw his like hip side or something. He moved away.
Well, that was great. Thanks for being here, Melvin. You made it almost. We're gonna play a commercial, and then if Melvin is here, we'll introduce ourselves and the world to Melvin Hayes, and we'll find out why he's still around. If he died in Britain 50 years ago,
if he retired from the NFL, if he's so he's got quite a few careers out there.
Oh yeah, I did not know he was in the NFL. That's a whole different one.
Yeah, he was in the NFL, and he's like 70 years old, I think he was also a comedian in South Carolina or North Carolina.
Oh wow, we got a lot of them. I'm not going to play a Willie commercial just because he's not getting more airtime just because he's not here. So I'm going to play this commercial right here. Right now.
Over 2 million guitar players worldwide learn, practice, and play with TrueFire. Our learning tools and massive library of video lessons will ignite your technical skills, harmonic knowledge, rhythm playing, and soloing chops. TrueFire's educators are the best in the biz, from Grammy Award winners to world-renowned artists. You'll have access to an unparalleled faculty of over 300 top-notch blues, rock, jazz, country, fingerstyle, and acoustic guitar educators. Using our desktop and mobile apps, you'll work with TrueFire's multi-angle video lessons on any device, anytime, anywhere. Integrated learning tools such as video synced tab and notation, slow-mo, looping, practice jam tracks, and many more handy controls accelerate your learning experience. TrueFire style-specific learning paths guide you every step of the way. Use our assessment tools to find your starting point, then follow our lesson recommendations and track your progress as you work through your personalized TrueFire study plan. Progress faster with private one-on-one instruction, group lessons, multi-track video jams, live streams, song lessons, student forums, TrueFire's Riff magazine, premium jam tracks, and much, much more. With thousands of 5-star ratings and reviews from amateur and pro players alike, you'll find yourself in good company with the world's most comprehensive guitar learning platform. Grab your guitar and ignite your musicality. Sign up free for an all-access trial today.
Sign up free to get your all-access Friday. All-access, blah, blah, blah. Use the promo code MINDDOG when you sign up to get that free all-access. Now, it's not forever.
Now, can I say something about the commercial real quick?
Yeah.
I've gotten so used to hearing Willie's Willie's voice on the commercials, that I forgot that that's not Willie doing that. And so when you said you was going to play one, I was like, really? We have one? And when you played, I'm like, no, Willie does his voice. But it's like, no, I have substituted Willie's voice for that guy's voice in this commercial.
We got a few of them, but those are the ones that are still paying the bills.
Gotcha.
I think, I hope, I should say. In honor of Black Friday today, I should let you host the program. You host this interview and just step out. But I'm not going to do that.
Just get some shoe polish.
Yeah, you know what? That would be good for ratings because it would definitely cause some outrage, and then I could claim my race card, my free get out of race jail card that you
Yeah,
gave me. Well,
yeah,
a black man gave me permission to do blackface.
yeah.
That doesn't float, though. We know that doesn't float because
Well, say
Howard
it's a
Stern.
spray tan. Call it a spray tan, and that way
Okay,
it's not blackface anymore. It's just a spray tan.
like what Trump does every day.
Yeah,
Like
except you're not going to go orange. You're going to go brown.
Right. Yeah, we could do that. But it doesn't fly because what was his name? George Jefferson with Howard Stern. That's still on Stern today because George Jefferson did an act with Stern in blackface. So and I don't I am so sick of the your Howard Stern comparisons that
Well, then in that case, go with the Whoopi and Whoopi Goldberg and what was her husband or boyfriend that she got him doing the blackface
I
from
forgot.
Cheers.
Yeah, I forgot about that. Anyway, it's time to meet our guest today, Melvin Hayes. Third time's a charm. Melvin was supposed to be here twice before. Screw up on him, screw up on me, screw up on the universe. But he's here now. He's known as Big Freeze. He works out of Southern California, and he's a former vet. And that's all we know about him. Good morning, Melvin.
morning.
I was misspelling it. There's two G's.
Yeah, I didn't know about the 2G. It's Big Freezy with 2Gs because there are online. There's 1G, and that's all we could find out about you.
You have to add the second G to add extra respect. You add another letter. You know what I'm saying? It's the stacking up, like how Mind Dog. You got the double D in the middle,
Right? Yeah,
you got the double G. You got the double E.
and then E after the Z in Freezy. So I totally misspelled it. So
And then it got three E's in the middle.
So like that's a mistake on my end. It's the coffee jitters.
yeah,
It's supposed to just be two E's.
probably Mind Dog coffee. Mind Dog always gives you the jitters
And
right?
the shits.
And the shits. So Melvin, you are. Do I have it right? You're a vet.
I am. Yeah. I served 5 years active duty in the Navy. After that, I served 4 years as a first responder here in San Diego in Southern California. 2 years as a contractor. Now I do stand up. It's a bit more than stand up. It's like I do a lot of different stuff. I'm kind of a busybody, I think. You know what I mean? Like I do stand up. I host events. I make ginger ale. I play the bass.
Make ginger ale.
Yeah. From scratch.
So you go dig up ginger root, and what's involved in that? How do you?
So I'm not that self-sufficient yet. I would eventually like to be out there, be able to go out and like pick my own ginger root. You know what I'm saying? Rip it from the earth that's giving it all of its nutrients. You know what I mean? And then give it to the people who need its nutrients. But it's a simple process. I make a ginger-based simple syrup with all my little ingredients. You know, I can't give you the details.
Yes, you can. You can. You just won't. You're selfish. But that's okay. So we've learned one thing about you so far. You're selfish. But keep going.
You see right through me. You see right through me.
Yeah.
He's like Colonel Sanders. He's not giving you the 12 secret spices or whatever.
Because at a point, if he could be rich for keeping secrets, why not me? If him in America have the ability to be rich keeping secrets, I feel like I should just keeping pace with the American dream or whatever they're calling it these days.
I dig it. Now I've had ginger. A friend of mine who tried to make me drink ginger when I think I was sick one time, and they said, ginger, and they made ginger tea, and it made me sick. It was like the awful taste and stuff, and made me nauseous and all this stuff. But ginger ale, I love. Now, how do you get it from that point where ginger tea is like fucking poison in a cup to ginger ale is like candy in a cup? What's the secret there?
It's literally just making the simple syrup. You know what I mean? Whereas like with the ginger tea, you boil down the root and then you add whatever you want to add to it. It's with ginger ale, just like with typical soda, it's all syrup based.
Brutal. You know, it's brutal. Ginger tea is fucking brutal, but I love ginger ale. Yeah.
Now you said you're San Diego.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Have you gone naked on Black Beach yet? Or is Black Beach still there?
No, Black's Beach. So Black's Beach is definitely still here. Black's Beach is definitely still here. I have not.
Let people know what Black Beach. I don't know what Black Beach is. Let people.
Black's Beach. Black's Beach is one of those rare nudist beach that you hear about all the time, but no one ever seems to know where one is. Black Week, we have one here in San Diego. It's in all honesty, it's not as popular, and obviously they're not going to like broadcast it or whatever the case may be. But it's here. I have not been myself. I've got the body of a 44-year-old woman, so I'm not going to go myself.
Well, now because when I was there, and this is when I was there, and I think it was only like it was
1855.
18. Well, it was right after emancipation, so it was like 65. But because that's why I was allowed to go there. But that's why they actually called it Black Beach.
I figured you were brought there by.
Yeah, so
I mean, there's only one way to get there, and it's not by foot. I'll tell you that much.
No, and Black Beach has like a cliff. One of the two really, really neat things about it is that it's like a cliff to go. It's like a 400-foot drop or something, and there's a car sticking out of the side of the cliff, hanging over the beach. A car sticking out of the beach. And I was like, how did that car get there? It's like, who drove out of the beach into the car? But the Marine, not the Marines. I think it was the Marines. There's a Marine base not too far from there.
Yeah, up there.
And they used to jog across the Black Beach. They jogged. That was part of their route. They would jog on the nude beach. But they wouldn't be nude. They'd be like their gig, but they'd be like running,
That's because that's the only way the Marines are going to consensually see a woman naked. And that's just part of that whole thing with them. It's like, well, you know what? If we're going to do it, and they're going to be American, we at least have to make it seem like we're doing something serious.
That's here we have nude beaches that are mixed. Like Fire Island is a lot of different beaches. There's the national parks beaches, and there's the town beaches, and they're all family oriented. And then you get to a point where it's nude beaches and gay beaches for the rest. And if you walk too far, you can see like all sorts of, and you don't want your kids just stumbling across. I don't know.
So like, is there like a rock wall or something?
No, you could easily walk. It's a long walk. I mean, it's a very long strip of land. But if you're on Field 5, which is the last family-oriented beach, you could easily walk into like a Studio 54 orgy or something. And
is there at least a line in the sand so they know
ain't
not to
nothing.
cross it?
No, you can, when you smell dick, you've gone too far.
I was gonna say, like, how far? So like, is it like you've got like the regular nude beach and then the gay beach and the family beach in between? So it's
there
like
is basically one step too far, dude. Wait a minute. They weren't ass fucking over there.
Right.
Do the dolphins like
Sash
say
on this side, West Hollywood on this side, and then Chuck E. Cheese in the middle?
Yeah.
Do the people out there now? Are there people fishing offshore? I mean, do they have to switch baits when they cross over?
No, there's not a lot of fishing over those beaches. Those are ocean beaches. So then, people are fishing on the bay side, on the other side where you're probably more likely. We do have a shark problem over there, though, and I think San Diego has a bit of a. I don't know if they have a shark problem, but they do have sharks there in the waters off of San Diego, right?
It's not so much down here. You see more of that up in San Francisco, where the waters are colder. You know what I mean? They like the colder water. Down here, we get a lot of whales fucking. Whales love fucking off the coast of San Diego.
Well, that's cool. That's a cool thing. I mean, tourists come. People pay money to watch whales fuck.
I swear to God, you know what I mean? And it's just like, I have not done like a whale watching thing myself. Like I spend a lot of time out there with them, you know what I'm saying, in the military, them and other people shaped like whales like myself. We spend a lot of time out there on the ocean. So I've had my fill personally. But year round, they're here doing like the whale tours.
Now, you with the comedy stuff, there's a comedy store in La Jolla, right? And is that close to San Diego? Refresh my memory. La Jolla.
No, it's pretty close to San Diego. It's if I had to guess, I'd say like maybe like 10 or 15 minutes north on like our main interstate freeway.
That's like right next door in terms of like Willie, who's not here right now, but for him the closest comedy club is probably 100 miles.
Wow.
So, that's like,
and the closest funny comedian is even further than that.
right. If you to find any comedians, you really have to go 1,000 miles. But now, have you visited? Have you worked the La Jolla Comedy Store?
I'm actually booked. I'm booked twice for the La Jolla Comedy Store next year. I've got they have these roast battles. So I'm roasting 2 local comedians out here. One of whom I challenged more so for shits and gigs, and then the other one who's been challenging me for like the last 6 months. And I was just like, okay, if you want to, you know.
Now I have a roast question then. Okay, because the comedian, if there's a comedian, let's say you're roasting him, he's a friend of yours, but you're about to roast. You go up to talk to him just before the show, and you realize he's got food in his teeth. Do you tell him?
Don't expose it. No, absolutely not. Absolutely not. You know what I mean? It's all one of the things that I've always felt about roast, and really one of the things that I've always felt about comedy, I guess in general, is that part of the beauty in it is learning how to be mean but funny. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah. There's a line to cross there, right? Yeah.
But if he's your friend, okay, let's say the 2 of you are friends and you're doing a friendly show. So one of you is open for the other. Then do you tell him he's got food in his teeth? So
like friendly and roast battle, cannot. I've like the whole, like you both know it. You know, it's the whole premise of like the roasting and everything like that. It's not supposed to be friendly. It's literally us popularizing being verbally abusive to another human being. That's literally the whole thing.
It is meanness as an art form.
Exactly. It's literally that, you know, and like it's not that I hate my friend because he's got something in his teeth. You know what I mean? At a point, we're all adults. You know what I mean? You should be checking for yourself. Like I made sure that these bad boys were brushed, et cetera, before.
I was watching you. You were brushing the beard down. So are those natural bristles? Are those natural bristles, or you got like horse hair, or what you got?
I can pull this off if you want. There's like
no. I mean with the brush you were using. The brush you were using.
Yeah. So these are all
that would be fucked up.
These are all, no, look, can you imagine me just casually? Oh no, this is fake.
I'm going to pull off my bald head wig.
I've got gorgeous hair.
I was just fucking with you.
But no, these are all natural. I bought these from a company out there on the East Coast by the name of Nettergold. They make hair care products, beard care products. I've got a wooden comb. I felt like that was probably the most pioneer shit that I could have ever done. The wooden comb was nice. It was a nice addition. But yeah, these are all they call them no harm bristles. Right. You know what I mean? So I guess that this didn't come off of a rabbit's ass or like a horse's ass or wherever they make, you know what I mean? Yeah. Wherever they make them from. But these are all natural.
We shouldn't be talking about Willie when he's not here. Don't be horse's ass you weren't talking about, Willie. I'm sorry.
Now, see, I have my brush looks similar to that, but mine is actually animal hair. But the animals, they donated their hair to science. You know, they're like organ donors.
Consensual.
They had donor cards so that when they died, their hide and hair were donated to science.
That's nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah. But so coming back to this La Jolla thing, because I have obviously never worked there, but I've been told that it's much different than the New York scene. Like you have to do slave work. Sorry, you have to work. You have to work at the door. You have to basically hand out flyers outside, whatever the stuff is that you wouldn't have to do just to get to like on a stage here in New York. Like extra penance you have to pay before you get an opportunity there. Is that true?
I'll say that's pretty true about like not just La Jolla in particular, but like the comedy scene in San Diego. Everything is very quid pro quo. But like everybody, instead of, you know what I'm saying, a favor for a favor, people damn near want you to literally suck their dick and balls. You know, can't forget the balls. Can't forget the balls.
Yeah, you gotta pay attention.
What about the women though? What about the women bookers?
No, it's not it's a lot of the time
they have balls.
It's like a prerequisite to be a booker. You got to have balls.
Pretty much, you know what I mean. Like either here or down here, you can either have like, you know, the actual things, or you can do the Peter Griffin thing that people have been doing lately. We got options. You know what I'm saying? We're all inclusive here.
Wow.
But it is a very what can you do for us kind of comedy scene, as opposed to how can we get who it's more so people want to find the next big thing, but then they want to have the next big thing where it's like you're indebted to them or whatever the case may be, instead of trying to get you exposure and then expecting you to come back and show love like most good comics do.
Okay, now how tall are you? Because to me, you look like you're the next big thing right now.
Yeah.
No, I'm definitely the next big thing, but that's because I'm overweight.
Okay.
But you look really tall too. I mean, it's hard. It can be really deceiving watching YouTube videos, because I've seen people who look really tall and then been next to them in person and like, oh, they're not. You're not the 6'9" that you appear on YouTube. How tall? How tall are you?
I'm 5'11".
Get the fuck out of here!
Yeah,
just short enough to keep from being sexy to women. Just short, just an inch short, just an inch short from being sexy. You know what I mean?
Missed it by that much.
Missed it by that much. It's just like I used to when I was a teenager, and I had my mind set on trying to play sports, et cetera, et cetera. I used to pray to be 6'4". I used to pray to God. I was like, God, just get. At the time I was 5'9". It was a big ask. I was like, God, just 6'4". I don't even need to be 6'6", just 6'4". And he was like, well, I'll give you 2 more inches. You know what I mean? That's all anybody's worth a damn down there.
Wow. Well, as long as you use it well. It's not the size or whatever.
I mean, I can't complain much,
But now I know blame isn't a helpful emotion or thing, but this whole idea about comedians having to do more to get opportunities out there, I think part of it is because they accept it. And once you accept it once, the industry understands that you'll accept it, and then they start abusing everybody. In your view, is there any way out of that, or is there just too much demand for people who want to be in movies and television and using comedy as a first step for that to ever change, so it will always be that way, that you got to really suck a dick to get some stage time?
For me as a comic, I personally don't feel like if you want to get famous by doing like movies or music or whatever the case may be, I think you should go that route, because like comedy is not a gateway into it. You know what I mean? It is, but only if you're funny, only if you're an actual comedian, only if you practice the craft. You know what I mean? And you do things with the craft to get yourself out there. Now, as far as what it's going to take to correct it, you kind of already hit the nail on the head. It's going to require the entire scene saying, no, I'm not fucking barking for you. No, I'm not going to work the door for you. No, I'm not going to do this for you. Know what I'm saying? And if I do, you need to understand that it's me doing you a favor instead of like the other way around. And
I tried to start a comedians union like 8 years ago. And honestly, I
understand. Believe me,
I used to go on stage, and I did it from the stage, and I'd say, okay, how many comedians here are like tired of doing these open mics for free and giving away your talent? They'd be like, yeah, that's okay. Let's unionize. Let's form Local 420. Because first of all, if you call a local union 420, you got half the comedians signing up just for the name.
Immediately.
Yeah, so we call it Local 420. Okay, we sign up, we join and we unionize, and we stop giving away our talent and make those fuckers pay us. And then, but then he get like scared because the bookers are in the, the guy who books the room is in the room when I say, we need to stop being treated like interns. We're not interns. We are talent. Mm-hmm. And if we take all the good comedians join, let them be stuck with just the shit ones doing it for free, then but it never took off.
You just kind of clued me into why people hate you. I say that with love, believe it or not, because I tried to form a musician support network, which was not a union, but it was a collective of musicians so that they could buy health insurance, because so many of them don't have it.
Yes.
And I went through, and I ended up the most hated man in town for trying to organize people to do something. First of all, they suspect your motives right away. Like, what kind of scam are you trying to do?
Why do you fucking care about me? My father didn't.
Exactly. Yeah. all that shit. So I ended up that most hated man, and it wasn't even union level, and there were no dues involved and all that stuff. And I was just like, persona non grata in the music community for a couple of years just because of that attempt. So I understand now why people hate Yo Gut so much, and why
Yeah, but it was going to be called Local 420. That's funny. Come on.
and
I
it's
was
funny.
yeah.
But it's
But
also, remember that we have people who want to hit you over the head and eat your brains, and then so
Oh
that's
my
what.
God, you know my ex-wife?
Yeah. Anyway,
okay, so what? Here's the. So were you a comedian at the time you were married?
Mm-mm. Oh God, no, I was employed.
he was, but not a professional, and that's why she left. Yeah.
You know, at the time when I was married, I was like I said, when I married her, I was in the military. After I got out of the military, I worked for a company, a little small, little lesser known ambulance company by the name of AMR. And if I can be completely honest with you, I was like, okay, cool. I'm going to work until I'm like 70, and then I get to die. And that was like the whole thing about like that marriage mindset. I was like, you know what? At the end of the day, no one's going to be able to say I was a piece of shit, and then I still get to die. Right on. We're doing great things.
Right.
You know?
So you're a bass player, right?
Yeah.
Upright or electric?
Electric. I wish I was upright. I don't have upright money, and that's like the honest to God truth. Uprights are fucking expensive because at a point it's like you're literally you're paying for a cello without like the cello part. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I got one years ago, but I didn't take very good care of it. But I got one in a pawn shop. It just happened to be there. It was playable when I got it, but I neglected it, and it kind of neck got warped. And like you think adjusting a neck on a guitar is with the truss rod. Once that gets out of shape, you're basically it's firewood at that point.
Fret buzz, you get fret buzz. You know what I mean. At a point, a lot of your fingering. But like a lot of your fingerings just they because like I've warped a neck, but then I worked it, but it wasn't so warped that it was like completely screwed. You know what I mean? Like I was able to fix it sooner, like early enough where I could still play it. It's actually my first bass, Lucille. She's in there. But I will say I do want an upright. Just because if nothing else, like all uprights are fretless.
Yes, they're beautiful.
And and like I don't know if you guys know who Jaco Pastorius is.
Yes, yeah, of course.
He is probably one of the most, in my opinion, brilliant bassists to grace the surface of this mud ball that we call a planet. You know what I mean? One, being able to play fretless, knowing harmonics fretless.
Yes.
I mean, and be able to kind of bridge that gap between like your harmonic and like not necessarily like your percussive, because I feel like percussive is more like a Larry Graham thing, but being able to like seamlessly transition between like your harmonic and your melodic bass playing, I feel like that is just brilliant.
First time I ever played in a band, played bass in a band, was on a Fender Jazz fretless bass, and it was a rock band. And people like, that's not made for rock music, but it was the only thing I had. So I learned to play it pretty well. I mean, there was still, occasional intonation problems because it was all like guesswork at my point.
Right. Yeah, right.
Ooh. This is my fretless.
All right, show us something. Come on, fucking rip something out here.
Hell no. I'm not. I just talked about playing for free as a comedian. You think I'm gonna play for free? Hell no.
A riff. Come on.
No, are you trying to preserve your soul? Is that what's going on here? You want to preserve your soul and entertainment? That's crazy.
Yeah. Big Freezy, what did you learn to play on? A 4-string, 5-string? Did you learn on 4 and then go to 5 or 6?
I did the right thing. My first was a 4. I did the right thing. I did the proper route. I don't know what it is about bass culture, but it's like the more strings you add, the more of a heretic you become.
Right.
They a lot of the times other bassists. It's not so bad now. I feel like we're all kind of trying to find new ways to make sounds with it. I feel like there's a definite benefit to learning how to play on a 4 first. I feel though, because if nothing else, it teaches you muting. You know what I mean? It teaches you dexterity. And then once you do add that 5th or even that 6th string, depending on whatever it is you're trying to do, like who's modern that plays it? Thunder. I don't know if you guys Thundercat plays a 6.
Yeah,
he's literally the devil.
Have you ever played a stick? It's called the stick.
What's the stick?
Oh, it's a 10-string instrument.
The stick, yeah. What's his name?
You have one? Yeah. Do you have one, Matt?
I don't have one. I tried to play one a couple of times. Somebody actually handed it to me on a gig and said, "You got to do walk around with this." And it's like, I don't play this. I don't know. Well, the agent said you did. Well, the agent is fucking never told me I did, because I don't. And I actually tried on a gig and I was like, I can't make fucking sense of this. And
for me, five isn't necessarily a lot. 6 for me right now would probably be a lot. 10, I'm not that much of a whore. I'm not anywhere near that ambitious. You know what I mean? It's because how would you'd essentially have to hug it and kind of
the stick
like this.
Yeah. Well, the stick is actually you play it by hammering.
Yeah.
Okay. So, yeah, it's 10 strings. As a matter of fact, I wish I had. I'm so fucking lazy. I don't have a stick. I don't have the stick. I have what it is. I have a life-size chart that I was using to learn to play.
Yeah, the Chapman stick is what it's called. But
yes.
What's the guy who Steve Chapman? The guy who like made it the most famous, and I know it's called the Chapman stick because he built it, but there was some guy who was going around being like the ambassador of the stick.
Yeah, and I can't remember who that was, but I know like one of my favorite uses of it is on a song by Brian Eno. Well, the song's by Brian Eno, and I think the song is called Kurt's Rejoinder. And I think I could be wrong, and Matt might know this better than me. Actually, if it's music, Matt does know it better than me. I think the guy who played the stick on that was Ray Davies from the Kinks. But I could be wrong. But Matt, like I said, I defer to Matt when it comes to music, and even if he's wrong, I think he's right because he just knows that much more than me about music.
I would definitely say that I can lie and say I know that, but I don't. Ray Davies playing the stick would impress me. But who is this guy? Anyway, the Chapman stick, stickmusic.com. You find out more about it. It's a Stanley Jordan type 2 times 2 type of thing where you're playing by tapping, not like Eddie Van Halen tapping, but more like jazz tapping. I don't know.
Like you can do chords and stuff like that, and it's really I was just wondering if you'd done it because it's a different enough instrument. But I think I just really wish it was more popular.
Right.
I want to low key, and this is probably something that I get from my mom. I want to learn how to play the sitar. Be honest with you. You know what I mean? If I do branch out more, obviously, bass is going to be there one way but if I did branch out, I want to learn the sitar, and I'd personally also be open to like piano lessons. You know what I mean? I feel like I've got like at least one of my hands has the dexterity to be able to play the piano.
So it'd be like really nice.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, there's a couple of different schools.
I'll be able to play chopsticks. That's enough.
People who can really have a really strong left hand on piano always impress the hell out of me. But a lot of rock people don't do that anyway. They're just playing like root notes on this and not really playing like patterns and stuff and jumping all around. Whenever I see somebody doing that, I'm like, you either have to be born with that or start taking piano lessons at a very young age to be able to master that kind of stuff.
Child abuse, right? Child abuse.
Right. Now, with the sitar, how do you know if it's in tune?
Well, the frets are movable, so I feel like.
Go ahead.
I said the frets are movable, so it doesn't.
It's always in tune then.
It's always in tune.
You never have to tune it.
You just have to know. You just have to know what your bass thing, whatever is your bass is. So when you move your frets around, so you know what you're doing. Yeah, I love sitar.
Yeah, that's another thing I touched once or twice, and I was like, I can't make music on it.
That-
My mother used to say, "Oh, you can give him anything. You can make music on it. Give him a spoon or a saw or whatever." Yeah, a saw or spoon's probably better than a sitar.
Moms, I feel like moms exaggerate like every fucking thing because it's like they're so like I used to tinker when I was a child into like my adolescence, and like I'd fix things like stereos, like radios, VCR. I learned how to fix VCRs. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I was kind of brilliant fixing a VCR. That was a stroke of genius.
Yeah.
Admittedly. But she introduced me to this professor of the University of Alabama at Birmingham. His name was Bharat Soni, and I never forget this because she had convinced Dr. Soni while I was 13 years old to consider me going into like high school for a mechanical engineering program meant exclusively for juniors and seniors. And she was just like, you see, boy, all you got to do is blah, 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 blah. And like, for me, it's like, dog, you don't know it. I don't fuck with math. You know what I'm saying? Fundamentally, I don't fuck with math. Cause like first of all, for every 1 hour of homework, I need 2 hours of homework. What the fuck are you talking about? How is that equivalent exchange at all?
Right. Yeah, thanks for reminding me, GD. I got to say goodbye to Govs right now.
You're welcome.
I'm 8 minutes late on this network. Governors, we'll see you on Monday. Enjoy your weekend. I don't even know who's playing there, who's performing there this weekend, but go there. You probably, if you're local enough to